the DiamondKShow.com, on fire-tv.com. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. A lot of things that we got to get to today. I'm going to be joined by a special guest later on. We're going to be talking about some work that they're doing in the community with regards to addiction and addiction outreach and all of that kind of good stuff for the community. So that's later on in the show. Right now, I have a bunch of things on the list. Let's do it. Take a quick break. Come back.
Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows.
Welcome back. Diamond K in here, DiamondKShow.com, onfire-tv.com, 6 p.m. So you know what that means. I am here running down top news stories of the day and a lot of other things as well. Are you happy? Do you live in Baltimore? Are you happy with the way things are going in Baltimore? There is a poll, or there was a poll, and some of the findings very interesting. So the poll was conducted by telephone and text to web. So they surveyed just over 1,000 adults that live in Baltimore City. And so they did the best that they could do to make sure that the respondents were Baltimore City residents. And they asked them a gang of questions. And it turns out that folks in Baltimore City are not happy. Folks in Baltimore City not happy. I don't know if this is a surprise or not. Michael Wilson on Facebook says, no, I'm not happy with the leadership in Baltimore. All right, so when you say leadership, Michael, you're talking about the mayor's office, you're talking about Baltimore City schools, you're talking about the police department. Be more specific. Who are you exactly unhappy with as far as leadership? I like to know that. Are Baltimoreans happy? All right, so we're gonna dive into this poll a little bit. So as far as the sample size and the age, the population, so 12%, 18 to 24, 25 to 34 was 24%, 35 to 44 was 16%, 45 to 54 was 14%, 55 to 64 years old, 16%, and the rest, 18%, was over 65. Most of the respondents were Black, 60%, and 31% were white. Now, as for education, 42% of the people that were surveyed had a high school diploma or less, a GED or less. Some college, associate's degrees, 27%, bachelor's degree or higher was 31%. Then he broke down some of the income. All right. And let me see. Thelma Purdy says that I'm here too from Baltimore, Maryland. Shout out to Baltimore. Definitely shout out to Baltimore. So as far as the income of the respondents, 26% was under 25K. 25K to 49K was 22%. 50K to 74K, 17%. And 11% had 75K to 99K. And 12% was 100 to 150. 12% was over that. So we're just getting a general idea of who they were talking to. And they're trying to find out whether, essentially, whether folks are happy. Most of the people that were participated in this poll were Democrats. 72% were Democrats, 11% were Republican, 16% were unaffiliated. All right, so let's talk about some of these questions. I thought that the questions were interesting. To get started, they said, do you think things in Baltimore City are heading in the right direction or are off on the wrong track? Wow. There's a question there. Michael Wilson on Facebook says, starting with the mayor's office and it trickles down. So you are unhappy with the mayor. Now, question here, Michael, what has the mayor done or not done that makes you unhappy? Now, because a lot of times, things can be going wrong. And then people say, oh, it's the mayor's fault. It may not be something that falls under the mayor's purview. But so I'd like to know, what are you unhappy about with Mayor Brandon Scott, who has been on the show twice, and we're trying to set something up for him to come back on the show. But I'd like to know, what is it that Mayor Brandon Scott did that you're unhappy, or who he didn't do that you're unhappy with? So that is something I'm asking one of the viewers. Anyway, the majority of the folks said that things are on the wrong track in Baltimore. Wrong track. I agree. I would have answered that question the same way. 67% said that things in Baltimore are on the wrong track. 18% said that the things are going in the right direction. 13% said, I don't know. 2% refused to answer the question. So another question they said was, I'd like you to rate various city public officials and entities. Please tell me whether you approve or disapprove of the job each one is doing. Oh, you don't want to go there. So approval ratings for the mayor, city council president, state's attorney, police commissioner, and mayor. The favorability ratings, they held those for future release. So that's going to be released. That's their own thing. I'm anxious to see what the results are of that. As far as the police department, it was kind of close. 28% of those on this poll said that they strongly disapprove of what the police department is doing. 29% said that they disapprove. 23% said they approve. 8% said strongly approve. 9% said that they don't know. They don't know whether or not they approve what the police department is doing. Interesting. They had some general questions here. For each one, please tell me whether you think it's a major issue, minor issue, or not an issue facing Baltimore City residents. It talked about lack of affordable housing. 71% said that was a major issue. That's true. Major issue. Another thing, litter and illegal dumping on the streets. 70% said this was a major issue. And it is. This is a major issue. Another question, inadequate public transportation. 42% said that was a major issue in Baltimore. 32% said it was a minor issue. I don't know what they're talking about. It's a major issue. Lack of employment or job opportunities. 24% said that was a minor issue, while 57% said it was a major issue. 57% said it's a major issue. 15% said it is not an issue at all. Crime and public safety issues. Here's a question. 90% of Baltimore residents surveyed said that it is a major issue, crime and public safety. 2% said it is not an issue. Where do they live at? We said Baltimore, but where in Baltimore do they live? The local tax rate. 60% said it is a major issue. Is it though? Is the tax rate a major issue here? They changed topics to education and school. Students are often given grades A, B, C, D, or F for fail to denote the quality of their work. Suppose public schools in Baltimore City were graded the same way. What grade would you give Baltimore City public schools? A, B, C, D, or F for fail? What do you think? 40% said an F for fail. 40% of those surveyed said that Baltimore City public schools is failing. Wow. All right, and so there were some very interesting questions. I like the questions actually. Changing topics. Said I'm going to read you a list of problems that schools sometimes face. For each one, please tell me whether you think it's a major problem, B, a minor problem, or not a problem at all. School buildings that are run down or in poor conditions. You know, Twin Investor said that taxes are outrageous. Taxes are outrageous. We're talking about taxes in Baltimore, right? Taxes in Baltimore are outrageous. Yeah, and so don't get confused with sales tax, right? Sales tax might be manageable, but you're right. The other taxes, state taxes, I feel you. I feel you. 78% said that school buildings are run down or in poor condition. 78%. Violence and lack of safety in the school. 77% said it was a major problem. Inadequate funding from the state and local government. 66% said it is a major problem. Students not meeting academic standards or getting a quality education. We were talking about this yesterday with Pastor Shannon Wright. 84% said that it was a major problem. Oh, yes. No, I feel you. It is not looking good. Yes, Twin Investor said that he is definitely referring to the taxes in Baltimore. Local or neighborhood schools closing, 56% said that as a problem in Baltimore. Teachers not being paid enough, 65% said it is a major problem in Baltimore. And then they went on to public safety and police. Think generally, do you feel not at all, a little, somewhat, or very safe in Baltimore? 35% of those surveyed said not at all. They don't feel safe in Baltimore at all. 20% said a little. 32% said somewhat. 11% said they felt very safe in Baltimore. And yeah, so what about just in your immediate neighborhood? To what extent? Not at all, a little, somewhat, or very. Do you feel safe in your Baltimore City neighborhood? And 16% said not at all. 17% said a little. 37% said somewhat. 28% said very. Feel very safe. How would you rate the job the Baltimore City Police are doing? Poor, fair, good, or excellent when it comes to the following: holding officers accountable for misconduct. Holding officers accountable for misconduct. How do you rate the job that Baltimore City Police does? 54% said poor. 23% said fair. 13% said good. 5% said excellent. 4% said that they don't know. 1% said that they refuse to answer the question. The fact that we have these type of numbers is it's not a surprise. It's really sad, and it really shows that things are headed in the wrong direction. Because this, I think that it's a good enough sample size to get a general idea. Over 1,000 people. Treating all racial and ethnic groups equally. 51% said that that's done poorly. Done poorly. And of course, we're talking about the Baltimore City Police Department. 27% said fair. 11% said good. 5% said excellent. They may be officers that said that. Protecting people from crime. 55% said that the Baltimore Police Department does a poor job. A poor job. 28% said they do a fair job. 10% said that they do a good job. Baltimore City Police Department. Next question was, I'm going to read you 2 statements about the Baltimore City Police Department. Please tell me which comes closest to your view, even if it isn't exactly right. Number 1, the problems facing Baltimore City Police are caused by a few bad officers and not the entire police department. 46% agreed with that. The problems facing Baltimore City Police Department department-wide, and are caused by more than just a few bad officers. All right, it was 43%. Twin Investor on Instagram says, do not have a duty to protect people. Says police do not have a duty to protect people. All right, Twin Investor on Instagram, what is the duty of the police? What is their duty? All right, and so that was interesting. And they went on to talk about some police funding, imposing harsher punishments to violent offenders. Imposing harsher punishment to violent offenders was strongly supported. So someone coming with a tough on crime approach could have some success in Baltimore. Now we do have a governor that is on that kind of tip, but he doesn't have a lot of money. Talking about Doug Gansler, he doesn't have a lot of money, but he seems to have the message and the platform that a lot of folks want, at least those that were surveyed. He's not in the top 3 of the money. Let me say that. We'll talk a little bit about some of these dollar figures for the governors a little bit later on in the show. Increasing police presence and the number of patrols throughout the city. Strongly supported. 55% said that. 25% said that they support. Only 9% oppose and 7% strongly oppose. Now, you've been hearing about guns, and they've been talking about guns a lot in the mainstream, and imposing stricter gun control and related punishments for gun crimes. 55% strongly support that. 55%. And 25% support it. That is interesting. And investing in violence prevention programs like Safe Streets. 42% strongly support, 30% support, 10% strongly oppose. That's a surprise. 10% strongly oppose. Just tuning in to the Dom K Show, we are talking about this poll. And generally speaking, folks are not happy in Baltimore. Folks are not happy at all. They went on talking about vacant houses and more about public transportation, job opportunities, and the such. It's very interesting looking at these polls. I love looking at these type of polls so we can get an idea of what folks think. And, hopefully our elected officials pay attention to these kind of polls. This was a Goucher poll. And generally speaking, folks not happy with the way things are going in Baltimore. I hope that the powers that be are paying attention. Just tuning in, your man Dom K in here, the Dom K Show. And the Flywire and TFB Entertainment presents the 15th annual Flywire All-White Affair. Baltimore's biggest and most celebrated event returns Sunday, July 24th from 5 to 10 p.m. at Hammerjacks, the outdoor venue, 1300 Russell Street in downtown Baltimore. After a 2-year wait, the party of the year returns with another exceptional, fun, and elegant red carpet cocktail event. Music by DJ Kibi, DJ Tons, and Super DJ Big L. Tickets on sale right now. Hammerjacks.com. Now, the attire, of course, it is an all-white party, so they want you in all white. Now, the venue is outdoors. This is taking place outside in a gravel courtyard. Shoe suggestion, ladies. Let me run this down for you. All right. Sneakers, sandals, wedges, and flats are highly recommended. Okay. Heels is not the move. Wear heels at your own risk. It is a gravel courtyard. You do not want to be going viral because your heel broke while you were trying to look good at Flywire's 15th annual white party. As I said, tickets on sale right now, hammerjacks.com. So we're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about the big win that Trump had, some of his election deniers in their respective races last night. You listen to the Dom K Show on fire-tv.com. We'll be back right after this.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
Welcome back. So last night, Donald Trump, former president, notched a significant victory in South Carolina, where his preferred candidate easily ousted the 5-term Representative Tom Rice. They smashed that fool. All right. The first Republican to be booted from office after voting to impeach the former president last year, but another high-profile GOP target of Donald Trump in the state, Rep. Nancy Mace, held back her challenger. So she was able to move forward, but he was able to get Tom Rice up out of there. Now, also in Nevada yesterday, 2 election deniers. These are folks who believe the election lie. All right. 2 election deniers who have tirelessly promoted the former president's lies, his lies about voter fraud. They won primaries for key positions in power of the state. So there was some interesting. So you got a split decision in South Carolina. Rice and Mace have been, the objects of Trump's anger ever since a mob of his supporters stormed the U.S. Capitol last year. So we have that. Voters ultimately rendered different judgments on the duo, different than what Trump thought. So 2 Republican candidates who have been pushing Trump's lies of voter fraud, right? Voter fraud. They are victorious in Nevada, at least in the primaries. And we'll see what happens in the fall for the general election. Not sure how that's going to go. So it's just in Texas, House seat flips. A once solidly Democratic district in South Texas will now be represented by Republican Flores, who won a special primary election to finish the term of a Democratic rep who resigned to become a lobbyist. So they had a special election. Democrat loses that position, and now it is going to be run by a Republican. Wow. All right. So I mean, this thing called politics, it's up and down. It's up and down, and you just never know. Also in the news, the Fed attacks inflation with its largest rate hike since 1994. The Federal Reserve today intensified its dive to try to, tame inflation. So it raised some key interest rates, and they think that this is going to help. We'll see. Central bank is ramping up its drive to tighten credit and slow growth, with inflation having reached a 40-year high of 8.6%. And we have been feeling the effects of this around the country. Really, it is not cool. But I often have to say this. This is a worldwide thing. This is pandemic related and supply chain related, and it's hitting everybody. It's hitting everybody. But as far as what we are measuring here in this country, this is like 40 years. It hasn't been inflation like this. So we're talking about Baltimore City and folks being happy or not happy. Baltimore City residents are going to see an increase in monthly water bills. An increase. They can expect their water bills to look different beginning in July. The City Board of Estimates on Wednesday voted unanimously to raise water rates in Baltimore City by 3% a year for the next 3 years. Let me say that again. Baltimore, the Board of Estimates today voted unanimously to raise water rates in Baltimore City by 3% for the next 3 years. Now, they're going to try to sell this to you like this is the lowest water rate increase for the city since 1998. Why exactly are they increasing this? Sewer rates in Baltimore will rise by 3.5% every year during that same period. I tell you, these are some of the things that make Baltimoreans unhappy. That's for damn sure. Wow. we talk about Baltimore. We got to talk about, other things that are happening. Police are investigating a Wednesday morning fire in Baltimore City. It was an intense fire in the Charles Village neighborhood, damaged 4 row homes and sent 3 people to the hospital today. According to police, the officers arrived around 4:30 a.m. For a report of a fire. Fire officials reported 4 homes were damaged in the fire: a 74-year-old male, a 57-year-old male, and a 30-year-old female, all taken to the hospital. The lady and one of the men have been released. The other male was upgraded to stable condition. Hopefully he will be okay. Fighters gained control of the fire just before 5 a.m. Now, they're trying to figure out what type of motive there was going on here. They pointed out that a pride flag was burned across the street. It's unclear if the incidents are connected. We don't know. They have some camera footage, so we'll keep you posted on that. Police also received at least one report of another pride flag being burned in this community last month. So they do have video from a nearby camera at the time of the fire, and they're looking through that. So, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Also, the Baltimore, I don't know. When you talk about this type of stuff, and then it's the month, Pride Month. It looks bad, and I don't want anybody to feel a certain kind of way. Right? I don't want anybody to feel a certain kind of way. A Baltimore jury convicts 4 men in connection to the fatal double shooting that we reported back in 2020. 4 men convicted. The jury convicted Anton Trent, Damian Meekins, Kevin Cleveland, and Jabels Johnson yesterday in connection with the killing of Kedrick Brown and William Barrett. Prosecutors said they fired at least 30 bullets in the middle of rush hour traffic near a busy intersection in Brooklyn. The shooting was recorded on surveillance cameras in the area. Sentencing is scheduled for later on this year. And I remember that case. So back in 2020, wow, it is unfortunate. The record heat wave continues. 1 million affected. More than 20 states are seeing dangerously hot temperatures this week, impacting nearly 100 million Americans. The heat index will be over 100 degrees from the plains to the southeast, with little relief in sight. An excessive heat warning has been issued from Southern California to Arizona. Temperatures at that area could reach 110 in the next few days. Record temperatures continue in the Midwest, the South, the Carolinas, Nashville. The recorded high was 97 degrees on yesterday. In North Carolina, Fayetteville, 100 degrees. Chicago yesterday experienced its warmest day since 2012. Temperatures reaching 98 degrees in Chi-Town. Temperatures stayed at and above 80 degrees for 2 days in Kansas City. They consider that to be burning up. Other cities seeing high temperatures: Charleston, Columbus, Pittsburgh, as the heat wave continues to creep up. It is definitely hot. It's hot in Baltimore. The American Heart Association warned that temperatures over 100 degrees can be dangerous. High temperatures can cause dehydration and increase stress on the heart. Association recommends that individuals stay hydrated. Let me stop here. I had to drink some water. Avoid caffeinated or alcoholic beverages and avoid outdoors during the peak hours of 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Right? We want y'all to stay safe. And summertime, it's summertime. So this is what happens. This is what you can expect in the summertime. And that's what it is. We're going to do this, take a quick break. We're going to come back and we're going to talk about something now. When I saw the news break on this, I said, oh, some folks are going to have a field day with this. And we're going to talk about this on the other side. Listen to the Dom McKay Show here at OnFireTV.com.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
And we are back. Your man Dom McKay in here. For the last 16 years, the Baltimore Crown Awards has been connecting, developing, honoring, and promoting the Baltimore scene. Get your green clothes ready, formal, semi-formal, or however you feel fly, because the 2022 Baltimore Crown Awards is an emerald party. The Baltimore scene is green. The nomination process is happening right now, and this will determine the actual nominees for the show. They need your input, so take a moment to visit thebaltimorescene.org, thebaltimorescene.org. Tell them who should be honored at the 2022 ceremony. They have a lot of great categories. Visual Artist of the Year, Retail, Makeup Artist, Movement of the Year, so many more. Let your voice be heard at the 16th Annual Baltimore Crown Awards. It goes down Saturday, November the 19th at the Garage, 6 Lafayette Avenue in Baltimore, 21202, all hosted by Desi Alexander. Tickets just $20. As I said, visit thebaltimorescene.org, thebaltimorescene.org. So, we've been talking about many things in the news, and, I saw news of this breaking earlier today. I saw it first, on CNN, I believe. Regardless, Dr. Fauci has tested positive for COVID-19. All right. So, folks on Fox and the conservative crowd are going to have a field day with this. Dr. Fauci, of course, the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, and President Biden's chief medical advisor. He has COVID-19. They say that his symptoms are mild. He's 81 years old, 81. He has been boosted twice, all right? And, so he has been being treated with an antiviral medication. And, he wished the best. And you don't want to see anybody sick. And a lot of folks have been getting COVID. It is something that it has been happening, all right? And so he found out he was positive with one of those rapid tests, and he will work from home and follow agency protocol. So he is, isolating and all that good stuff. He was scheduled to speak Thursday at a hearing, but he's going to do the video conference. And they claim that Fauci has not had any close contact with the president or any senior staff recently. Throughout the pandemic, of course, Dr. Fauci has urged caution and has demonstrated it himself. He hasn't gone to a lot of those events that had a lot of folks. Didn't attend the White House Correspondents' Dinner in April after considering his own individual risk. He said that he wasn't going to do it. He still has COVID, so many folks are going to be like, what does he know? Some people might say that, or following him, or we're going to get it all. Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. He has been working nonstop during this pandemic. And in May, he said he hadn't had a day off since COVID came to the U.S. Fauci joins the growing list of Biden's administration who have had COVID, including the White House Domestic Policy Advisor, Susan Rice, the Attorney General, Merrick Garland, Kamala Harris. A bunch of folks have had COVID. And Dr. Fauci is the latest to have COVID. So I know it's going to be many jokes about that. And I think this is a great segue. The FDA advisors move COVID-19 shots closer for kids under 5 years old. Now, it may be ironic that I'm mentioning this after we talked about Dr. Fauci having COVID, but COVID-19 shots for U.S. infants, toddlers, and preschoolers moved a step closer today. The FDA vaccine advisors gave the thumbs up to vaccines from Moderna and Pfizer for the smallest kids. outside experts voted unanimously that the benefits of the shots outweigh any risks for children under 5, and that is roughly 18 million youngsters. They are the latest age group in the U.S. without access to COVID-19 vaccines, and many parents have been anxious to protect their little kids. Are you ready to give your youngsters the Pfizer or Moderna shot? If all of the regulatory steps are cleared, shots could be available as early as next week. Long awaited, I suppose. But are you going to give your kids? I'd like to know. Are you going to give your kids a vaccine? Of course, I don't have any biological kids. If I had a child that age, would I be giving them the vaccine? I think I would. Here's the thing. How many shots do we give kids when they're going to school? How many? A whole bunch of them. What's in any of those? What's in any of those injections that we give kids when you're going to school? I'll wait because you don't know, right? You don't know. You trust. And I think this is one of those things that you would have to do. Now, of course, it's up to you what you do. I just think that you should give your kids a shot because here's the thing that really sticks with me. Usually when folks get sick, it's because kids gave it to them. Usually you get it from your kids. Kids go to school, you get sick. Every year, if you got kids, you get sick. Something. They come home, they're sniffing, they're snotting, they're touching everything. They can pass COVID as well. So maybe this can help. Maybe it can help. I don't know. But that is out there. And I believe that's going to come, next couple of days. They are going to say it is A-OK for youngsters to get these shots. Just tuning in, Jermaine Dominique in here, the DominiqueShow.com, onfire-tv.com. We talked about this poll, this Goucher poll that Baltimoreans, generally speaking, are not happy with the way things are going. We have elections coming up. We can get other folks in office. Of course, you got to wait a little bit more time before you vote for something like the mayor. But I don't know. So, there's some chances coming up. State's attorney's office, Baltimore City State's attorney's office. That's something that you could work with. We talk about inflation. We talk about the price of things. And then we see reports that the U.S. is sending $1 billion more military aid to Ukraine. It just doesn't make sense to me. We got all this money to give another country that's in war or that was attacked, and we're at war here at home economically. But the U.S. announced that it will send an additional $1 billion, that is with a B, $1 billion in military aid to Ukraine as America and its allies provide longer range weapons, which cost money, that they say make a difference or can make a difference where Ukraine forces are outnumbered and outgunned by Russian invaders. President Biden and his top national security leaders said today that the U.S. is moving as fast as possible to get critical weapons to the fight, even as Ukrainian officials protest and say that they need more and faster and quicker, and they need more money and they need all this kind of stuff in order to survive. Okay, well, this is not America. Okay, that's Ukraine. And let's look at this. If this war in Ukraine is affecting gas prices indirectly, if it's affecting so much stuff, this money would be better spent trying to help things here. I'm just saying. The way that they do business is it is just cutting off their nose to spite their face. All this money that they're putting out, if they claim that some of the stimulus packages helped with inflation, what is all this money that we are sending to another freaking country going to do to the deficit? Oh, they don't even talk about that. It has to affect things. It has to affect things. If us spending money to stimulate the economy here affects things, then there's going to be ripple effects of all the money that they're just printing up and just sending to Ukraine. Yeah, I respect the Ukrainians, and nobody likes a bully Russia attacking somebody. But at the end of the day, it does not make sense to me that another billion is just going while we are paying $5 in gas prices, and more than that, $5 a gallon, right? And those that are going to try to make the conversation or make the argument that gas prices are high, so we have to give more money to Ukraine, and that's going to make it lower. No, it's not. It's not. But that's what we're dealing with, and it is maddening. It is maddening to sit and report this, that we have all this money from mysterious places. Where's the money coming? Either taxpayer money, like they just printing it up. It's just money. It's given to Ukraine. There's so many states. There's so many folks that could benefit much more from this money. But the same Republicans that will say, "Oh yeah, we don't want to do entitlements. We don't want to give them money." Yeah. Send the money to Ukraine. Yeah, send the money to Ukraine. I don't understand it. These politicians in Congress, they can't agree on nothing, but they can agree that we're supposed to send some money to Ukraine, another country. Okay. It doesn't make sense to me. Unless there's somebody sending money to us, do they have a payment plan? Are they going to be able to get this money back? They can get money quicker than you can get a loan, right? You can get a loan and start a business. No, you can't get that. But the Ukrainians can get money like it ain't nothing. Ain't no payback plan. There's no timeline for this. They're not going to repay the money. This is just a gift. We're giving them money. It's not like we're loaning. They didn't say that America's loaning Ukraine money. We ain't loaning them this money. This is a gift, right? This is a gift. And this ain't even a gift that keeps giving. This is just a gift. It's like a black hole. It's just gone. It is just gone. And it is frustrating, right? It's frustrating when we talk about folks, because you can see the infrastructure here. They can't agree on the infrastructure. They can't agree to build up anything. I don't know. Let's take a break.
Visit OnFireTV.com for live top stories, breaking news, and original shows. On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.
And we are back. So we've been talking about the election, which is coming up. And one thing about elections is money, campaign finances. The numbers are in, and folks had to report how much money they had, right? And you got folks with large amounts of money as we're going into the home stretch. Now, the public disclosures, I'm excited about it. Now, here's why I'm excited, because it is good to see what these folks have, how much money they have to spend towards their campaigns. Just having a lot of money does not mean or guarantee a win, because, as you know, often it's not about how much money you have exclusively. It's about what you are spending the money on. That's the most important thing. What are you spending the money on? So we're going to talk a little bit about some of this. And, on one hand, I say we're talking about the money, and we're going to get into some of their numbers, but it's also frustrating that usually the big money wins, right? And a lot of times folks seemingly are in politics for the wrong reasons, not to help people, because we're going to be talking about millions and millions of dollars. Generally speaking, we're talking about millions of dollars. And why are they in politics? Are they in this to raise money, to have access to power, or are they in this to actually help people? I mean, it's a question. We're not going to know the answer. Usually, we gotta see what they do before we can actually get an answer. Okay, so Miss Lacey says lemons will help you clear your throat. I have an allergic reaction to dust. I know that feeling. Hey, thank you. Yeah. So it seems to me that once a show, I have a coughing fit. Okay, and it's like I don't know. So you said I need to I need to eat the lemon. Like what exactly do I need to do? She's giving me some advice, and I definitely welcome it, right? Because I'm saying every time I have a show, I have to DJ a little bit later to record one of the mixes for a show that I do, and I can get into a coughing fit while I'm DJing completely fine. But when I'm actually doing a show where I'm talking for long periods of time, boom, coughing fit comes, and it is usually a disaster. Did we talk about the guy that the feds indicted, the California guy who was found with the gun near Kavanaugh's home? I don't know if we talked about that or not, but the feds indicted this man. He had a gun, a knife, and pepper spray near the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. And he told police that he was planning to kill him. But was he really, though? I mean, if he was trying to kill him and he told the police, I don't know. It seems like something might be wrong with this guy. Anyway, 26 years old of Simi Valley, California, Nicholas Roski, charged with a single count indictment with attempting to murder a justice of the United States. Now, he did not actually do anything to him. He just squeeze the lemon. Okay, I'm gonna squeeze the lemon. Perfect. I have lemons, so I would do that. I wish you had told me that before the show started. No, okay, no problem. I appreciate that. Squeeze the lemon in my mouth. We'll do that. And so prosecutors say that the 26-year-old traveled from California to the justice's home in Chevy Chase, Maryland. Yeah, he lives in Maryland with the intent of killing Kavanaugh. So he did come across the country. So maybe he really was going to, but thankfully he did not. And understand this: they're going to drop the hammer on this Bama. Okay, they're going to drop the hammer on him. The indictment comes one day after the House gave final approval to legislation that would allow around-the-clock security protection for families of Supreme Court justices. They're going to, as I said, they're gonna nail this guy to the wall. On Facebook, Anthony Price says that Brandon Scott did all this talking just to get people's votes. Oh wow, okay, we are going there. Okay, now I feel you, and I understand what you're saying. As I said, he's been on the show twice, and it is about time for us to sit down again and have a conversation. And I'm sure that many folks have some thoughts. He talked loud. He made some bold promises and proclamations, and I'm sure looking forward to sitting down with him and talking. And we've had some time for him to be in office, and I think that enough time has gone past where we can fairly grade the job that Mayor Scott has done. Now, can he fix everything in a little bit of time? No, he cannot. But has he had enough time to get something done? I would say yes. We should be able to see evidence of something, and it just appears that many folks do not see evidence of that. Many folks claim, some people say that they don't even see him. Like, they don't even see evidence of him being around. I have seen, when stuff has happened, I have seen him, I've seen him. I mean, you see him at the press conferences, right? Anthony says, I don't know who's worse, Scott or Mosby. Okay. Now, Okay, let me preface this by saying I do not work for the Mosby campaign. I do not work for Brandon Scott's campaign. I don't work for any of those campaigns. But let me ask, what has Mosby done wrong? What has she done wrong? Why are folks coming down so hard on Marilyn Mosby? Tell me what the top prosecutor has done, or what. Like, I'm confused. Do you watch? You must watch Fox 45 all the time. I mean, because Fox 45, like they're really mad at her. She did this and she did that. What did she do exactly? She's the state's attorney. She's the lawyer for the city. Like, right? I don't even know if we can even put her in the same conversation as the mayor or the police chief. She has a job, but it's not. She is the prosecutor, right? She prosecutes the crimes of the people that they give her so she's kind of further. I mean, she's part of this whole mix, but she don't run the city, right? She don't run the city. I mean, I've seen her campaign ads, and she may have a lot of people walking behind her down the street, but Marilyn Mosby don't really run the city, okay? Marilyn Mosby does not run the city. Just tune in. It's the Diamond K Show here on FireTV.com, the DiamondKShow.com. And we had I don't know where she is. So, okay, we're gonna keep it moving. So we talked about that. And I tell you what, though, folks really have a big, there's some really strong feelings out there for Brandon Scott. Wow. Y'all got to see some of these comments. There are some strong feelings about the mayor. Strong feelings about the mayor. All right. So we talk. Oh, Lamar Jackson. I said yesterday that I think that we are going to lose Lamar Jackson. I do. I think that if the Ravens can do anything, right? And that's messed things up. Okay. Lamar is still on his rookie contract. He is trying to get more money. We're going to see what happens. Twinvestor on Instagram says that the guy who killed the police officer was given a PBJ and subsequently released in less time for a violent crime. Yeah, you're talking about when he was in Baltimore. And wait, so you're blamed. So let me get this straight, because I think I want to make sure that I understand what you're trying to say. Twinvestor on Instagram, are you saying that Marilyn Mosby released him? What are you trying to say, that Marilyn Mosby didn't release that guy? Twinvestor says the guy that set his girlfriend's house on fire and got a plea deal of probation. Okay, then that might be something different, but. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know if so we need to where did this particular guy live that you're talking about? Where did he commit this crime? There's so many things that go into this. So what guy exactly are you talking about? The guy that set his girlfriend's house on fire and got a plea deal of probation. And then you can't have it both ways, right? That's in the state's attorney and the judges. Okay, the judge is who issues the judge is the one. Like, the state's attorney makes a suggestion, right? State's attorney makes a suggestion in a case, but yes, the judge hands down the sentence. We can't blame everything on Marilyn Mosby, right? They've made Marilyn Mosby the face for everything. Anything wrong? Why gas prices so high? It's Marilyn Mosby's fault. You know what I mean? Why is it drug deals on a car? It's Marilyn Mosby's fault. I mean, why are these red light cameras? It's Marilyn Mosby's fault. Like, everything ain't Marilyn Mosby's fault. So he said it happened in Baltimore. Let me get his name. Yes, please get me his name. We need to look at this case, because if it is something that her or her office did, then we okay, we gotta talk about it, and that's something wrong. But we can't, on one hand, say that we want black men to not be incarcerated at high numbers, and you throw the book at them every time, and then when somebody says that they want to be a little bit more, I don't know, open, lenient, more equitable, then we get mad again, right? So we can't have it both ways. We can't say all the black people is locked up, and then you got somebody trying to work with people, and then you mad about that too. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's check out. What is okay? This is okay. My Twitter feed, so I don't post on Twitter a lot at the Diamond K Show, but I post on there. I go on there pretty often. And so, you see some people on there, and you just like, what is wrong with this person? Yeah, it's just one of those things. Okay, Twin Investor on Instagram says that if we had taken my stepfather's murder to trial, the lid would have gotten off. Excuse, they got confession legally. Okay, Luther Moody Trent. Okay, you said a couple of things. Okay, so what? Your stepfather's murder to trial. Tell me more. What's your stepfather's name? And I don't know. I'm unfamiliar with that case that you're talking about with your stepfather. And I'm definitely sorry to hear that. Now, is that something that Mosby was a part of as well? I'd like to know more about that. Okay, so twin for violent crimes though. Nah, that don't make sense, bro. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, so twin investor, you're saying some good stuff. I don't know everything that you're saying. Okay, so the case that you're talking about, Luther Trent. All right, Luther Trent. Man set fire to ex-girlfriend's house with 3 people inside. Oh, I remember this. Yes, I remember this case. Okay, he was 21 years old. He was charged in connection with this arson. The arson happened last year, and he was charged with malicious destruction of property used in and affecting interstate commerce by fire. Okay, prosecutors said that Trent is accused of setting the house on fire in the early mornings of May 21st, 2021. This was in the 1900 block of Linden Avenue. The officials said that the fire was set was a wooden deck. He set the deck ablaze and moved inside the house. Substantial damage. Home was rented to 3 people, all of whom were in the house at the time. The Baltimore fire investigators determined that the fire was intentionally set, and the origin of the fire was under the wooden deck in the back of the house. Victims told police she'd been receiving threatening text messages from Trent, for whom she had what prosecutors call a prior volatile romantic relationship with. Victim obtained an order of protection. Prosecutors said that the detective found video of a prior incident involving Trent, in which the police were called in March of last year. So this was 2 months before this situation happened. All right. And at the time, Trent was shirtless, wearing glasses and jeans. Asked about his cousin, who he claimed lived at the house. Said he was acting nervous. Okay, so that was something happened. Minutes later, it was a fire set. Okay. And so Vig Naraja, who's running for state's attorney, represented the victims and sent a statement. Victims, okay, all right. So you are supporting Vig Naraja, I see, because you bring this case up that he is involved in. So if convicted, Trent faced a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, maximum sentence of 20 years in federal prison. Okay. Federal prison. This is not a U.S. District Attorney. This is not a Marilyn Mosby case. This is a Fed case. Okay, this is a Fed case. Trent is back in custody, detention. On Thursday, Thursday tossed out a plea in which Trent admitted to setting her stand, saying he was in homicide. Earlier plea, he was sentenced to 5 months. A new plea deal. Oh, this is so crazy. Okay, so there's a lot here. All right. So when is this? This was, I'm just looking at this. So, all right. So in January of 2022, the judge tossed out a plea in which Trent admitted to setting the fire after the 3 victims were allowed to give impact statements saying that he terrorized and traumatized them. In an earlier plea, Trent was sentenced to time served 5 months. In a new plea deal, he could get 10 to 27 years in a Maryland prison in addition to possible federal incarceration. So let's not act like he did take the plea deal. Let's not act like he just got away scot-free. I'm assuming that he still could get 10 to 27 years in prison. And something's going on here. The feds are involved in this case as well. Vignaraja represented the victims. Okay, so you're saying that this is an example of Marilyn Mosby and her stuff, right? Okay, all right. I don't know about that one. We gotta look at that a little bit further. But Twin Investor did tell me about his father. So he said that his stepfather was murdered almost 2 years ago. The kid that killed him would have walked had we taken it to trial because they illegally coerced him to confess. Fortunately, he took the plea deal. Okay. Yeah, so that situation is that sounds like the police didn't do things correctly. And that is unfortunate. And so we definitely have people, they're humans, they are not perfect. And so whenever a mistake is made, it is something that needs to be corrected. The police did this completely wrong. The police did that wrong if they coerced him. The feds must have just picked it up. Okay, he got a plea deal originally. Yes, he did. And then we're talking about Luther Trent. Yes, originally he got a plea deal. And but yes, the feds picked it up as they should. Like this particular gentleman, I don't even want to call him a gentleman, but this criminal, this arsonist does not deserve a lot of leniency. But sometimes there are situations where folks get the book thrown at them that should not get the book thrown at them. Now, in this instance, this arsonist deserves the book thrown at him. And the murderer that took your stepfather from here needs the book thrown at him. I'm not talking about violent offenders. I'm talking about petty stuff. Petty, a small amount of drugs in their pockets, stuff like that. Those guys don't need the book thrown at them. You know what I mean? Very small amount of weed or some kind of a controlled substance. I would have to explain to you about the state's attorney's office involvement. Yes. I would like to hear about that because, maybe we can talk behind the scenes, or even if you can come on the show, Twin Investor sometime. I'd like to talk about it because I think that more people need to be involved in the process. We need more folks. So when we have election, we got primaries coming up. We got general election in the fall. And then in 2 more years, we're going to have that presidential election. You're going to have the mayor's race, all that kind of stuff. We cannot just let the folks get in office and then just sit back and say, okay, they didn't do this or they didn't do that. No, we have to hold them accountable while they're in office, right? While they're in office, and we cannot wait until the end of their time and then talk, they should have did this, should have did that. We have to hold them accountable. And we got to make noise. And I like the fact that folks are saying, look, he ain't doing nothing. We not happy with this. I'm glad that they're saying that. And I know that that has to happen. Right. But so many folks, and we have a minority of people who participate, who vote, and then want to make noise during the campaigns. And then want to make noise after the fact. We have to have more of that. I don't know. Instagram just booted me off. They're doing an update. What is going on? Okay, so we are at the end of the show. Wow, so that was interesting. We were talking about that, and I definitely want more folks to get involved in the election. I want more folks involved in voting. I want people still holding these politicians accountable. We're going to organize a town hall. I would love to sit down and talk with folks. We need to get our list of demands up. Town halls, we need to have constant communication with the citizens and with the elected officials. So definitely look for more on that. I am serious about this. Your man, Don McKay, it has been great. 6 p.m., 7 p.m. We ran a little bit over today. All good. We're going to be back with the His and Her show at 8 p.m. today. I'm looking forward to sitting down with Sweet Tea and talking to her. We have not had a chance to chop it up in a few weeks, so we got a lot to talk about. You're missing the episodes of the show. Anywhere you get your podcast, just search The Diamond K Show. I will be back here tomorrow, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. tonight with Sweet Tea for the His and Her show. Thanks. See you guys later.
On Fire TV is a streaming network for a generation on the move.